Hey, greetings, friend. Welcome back to Becoming UnDone, the podcast for those who dare bravely, risk mightily, and grow relentlessly. Join me, Toby Brooks, as I invite a new guest each week where we examine how high achievers can transform from falling apart to falling into place. Joining me today from the hub city of Lubbock, Texas, Jonathan Shorten
Yes,
is
sir.
one of the most incredible auto salesmen in the world at this moment. He just shared with me he sold 3 this morning, and it's not even noon. So, Jonathan, thanks so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you for having me on here, man. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so we go sort of way back. My kids went to Cooper High School, and I know you've got history there.
Yep.
And we crossed paths initially, a great program that Coach Darden has where he connects mentors from the community with players there at Cooper High. And you were involved in that. And we became friends from that. And then I've kind of followed you on social for a bit. And, I mean, you know what you know from what people share with social, but I gathered that you were a person that was hunting for purpose and looking for what maybe the Lord had in store for you or for whatever it was you were placed here to do. And then suddenly you become a salesman and you are killing it. I see a picture with you with a new trophy every month. So I'm like, I got to reach out to this guy and I got to hear his story. So thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me on here, man. Seriously.
Well, I know your background is in sport, and that's a common theme in this show. So take us back to
Mhm.
those days in high school. What role did sports play in your life, and what did you imagine your future would look like back then?
Man, like every kid, swore I was going to the pros. Swore. Yeah, you said Coach Darden. I was actually a part of the first group of kids that Coach Darden got to coach back in middle school. Let's see. Probably wanted to lean more towards playing football, like at the next level in college. Ended up ended up getting my sophomore year, man. I just couldn't get over hill spurts, man. Something about the turf, couldn't get over it. And I was a little bit chubby. So yeah, sophomore year was chubby, about 5'9", and was all right, man. I mean, I really didn't give everything I had to give. And then went off to North Carolina that summer. Went to go work at actually the Kitty Hawk Museum in North Carolina. Hung out with my aunt, uncle, and came back and I was like 6'3". Um, and all I did was ate chips and did nothing. Came back, I was 6'3" and dunking a basketball and running at like 4'5". So I probably stepped away from football a little bit too early. I was a late bloomer, stuck to basketball, but actually part of a group of Cooper that we probably went down for something not so good. Our whole basketball team partied. We had a drug test. All of us failed. Literally right before district play. And it's funny, we were actually picked to probably win that district and go really deep into state. And that was a district that had powerhouse Brownfield, Seminoles coming off state championship run. La Mesa was actually pretty decent back then. Shallow water was shallow water. And we were the pick, man. And really, that's kind of when the first set of adversity really hit me.
Yeah.
Was probably my junior year.
You had expectations on you. You've got a pedigree of
Yeah,
high level athletes in your family. So talk to me a
100%.
little bit about how that maybe factored into your identity as an athlete.
My dad, man, like you said it, he's probably like he at his time, the 80s, he was that guy in the Lubbock, Amarillo, Odessa area. He was, like they say now, he was him. Baseball, track, football. Ended up wanting to go to A&M to play football. Not too sure what happened there. So then he went to ACU and just killed it. He was in the conference. I want to say it was the Lone Star back then too, with John Randall, and he actually him and John Randall were neck and neck every season in sacks. And what's funny is he's got a really cool story too. He had quit playing football after college and was working at J.C. Penney's. And some guy came up to him and was like, "I know you. Like, why'd you stop playing football?" My dad's like, "Yeah, now that I'm done with that." And he's like, "Hey, I probably got one shot for you. I got one more chance." Like tells my dad and J.C. Penney's like, "You should come out to Chicago. I can probably get you a camp invite, and I think you have a good chance of making the team." And my dad told me, he's like, dude, I thought this guy was full of it. He's like, basically, I was like, yeah, okay, some guy's gonna come see me at JC Penney's, recognize me and think I can still play. And he came back and he did. He ended up getting a shot in Chicago, Philly, played Arena Football League, played for the Birmingham Barracudas. It was the only American team in the CFL. A lot of people don't know that we actually had a team in the United States back in the day. After that, played in the NFL Europe, and then came back home. So, like you said, I mean, the expectations were there, and kind of the reason I didn't want to grow up in Amarillo. That's where he grew up, and my mom was living there at the time. So, as soon as I had the opportunity to get out of Amarillo, I wanted to, because yeah, every time I put a helmet on or lace up my shoes, it was, oh, that's Shorten's boy, you know.
Yeah,
So
right.
I kind of just wanted to make my own identity
Yeah.
for myself. It was going well for me at the end of my run. Probably like that end of my junior year, I really started figuring out like, okay, hey, I'm a pretty good athlete. And then so what I wanted to do, I wanted to transfer to Coronado. They were going to be the only 6A in the area, because every kid thinks going to 6A just guarantees you're going to play at the next level, you know.
Right.
So I did that, and everything was going great. Was probably going to even play some football, uh, go back and play football. Then my first week of my senior year, and I mean, you got to think about where we're at in the timeline. I mean, I've already moved. I've already left Cooper, was at Coronado, but the UIL actually did not let me play sports my senior year. And we actually moved to the Coronado district, and no, I didn't get to play. So you got to think that's, like I said, you're coming off my junior year, failing the drug test, you know, then everyone knows, then trying to move my senior year. I mean, dude, that's like as low as you could have a kid be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I still remember sitting in Coach Dean's office and him telling me like, hey, like you're gonna start for me. I was gonna love to have you. You're gonna be great along with Jarrett Culver. I've already been playing with Jarrett Culver. We in and out of premier pickup games. I mean, we were excited, man, and came into me and was like, hey, like, no shot. So I still, because of like you said, I've still probably had opportunities to play sports outside of high school. My dad still lined up a bunch of stuff for me to get the opportunity. But man, by that time, I think it's like when your girlfriend keeps cheating on you. Like you might love her. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
seriously, like
Right.
you like might love her, but finally you're just like, dude, I don't even want to do this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like every which way I was getting the bad end of the
Yeah.
stick.
Sure. And I think it's natural. I mean, clearly you made a mistake on one hand, and then you
Yes.
pull things together and think I'm doing it right, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
focused, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get turned away again. And sports
Mm-hmm.
at this point had been a pretty significant part of your identity. When that's taken
And
away,
everything.
what does that do to you psychologically? Where do you go, and what's the response to that denial by the UIL?
Dude, that's something I've never even thought about, but I have your answer. Mask it. You mask it. You you turn to things that you think you should or need to do to, I mean, you got to think like everyone wants to hang out with the athlete. So I mean, you try to be like someone that you're really not. And like that's actually a really good question. And I've never thought about that, but I think I masked it from 2014 to about 2018. You know, didn't have an identity. I wasn't Jonathan the athlete. I wasn't the smartest kid. School smart. I feel like I have really good street smarts, but I mean, I wasn't great at taking tests. You know, I mean, so like, man, I was just trying to fit in where I could. You know, I mean, hang out with these group of guys, party with these group of guys. I mean, no direction, just no direction. Just wanted to mask everything that had happened and not take the accountability. Like, dude, it was me who caused that.
Mhm.
I had so much blame on everything else. Like, oh, what if we would have done this? What if I would have done this? Oh, but this person's parents told this person, you know, and like being 28 now, it's 10 years out of high school. Now I can look and say, oh yeah, it's that guy in the mirror. Like, you know, that was me, you know, it was my decisions.
Yeah.
And someone asked me like, if I could go back and change it, would I? No, like, no, it was everything that happened made me like the person I am today. And the word that I'd like to describe myself would be resiliency. Like, like I just, I don't know how to give up. I don't want to give up. I always wanted to be someone.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just knew I was going to figure something out to be someone. Me and my friends always had some type of get rich fast scheme. 100 jobs that we started. I mean, they all failed. You just want the shortcut, but you got to realize like it's the process.
Yeah.
Like, so.
So candidly, you shared a photo with me that obviously you're not ashamed of it now. It's part of your story, just like you
No.
shared. It was a photo at the jail. You had been arrested. I'm not
Yep.
quite sure on the timeline there, though. So kind of walk me through the days from
No, this is good.
graduating high school to when you get that phone call from Coach Poe. What did that in between look like for Jonathan?
Okay. A bunch of, a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I was having a lot of fun. I met a girl, moved to McKinney, Texas. I had a few friends already in that area. And once again, I was gonna shoot that one last shot to play some sports. I had an in to go try out or play football at North Texas. Just the connections were there. I was actually in phenomenal shape. I was lifting crazy. I was lifting for no reason. That's what's funny. I had no plans to go play football. I was just playing basketball at the rec in Denton with a bunch of kids that played at North Texas, and they're like, "Bro, do you play ball?" I was like, "No, man. No, like I'm 20 years old. Like I don't play any ball." And one of the kids was like, "Dude, I'm a walk-on receiver." Little white guy's like, "I'm a walk-on receiver." He's like, "Dude, you need to come play. Like you need to come play football." And I was like, "You know what? I might. Like, you know what? I'm already down here." So I was like, "You know what? Why not? Like, I'll give it one more shot." Um, and so this would have been like July, man. Yeah, July. Moved over there. I was living there probably 2 months, and I just remember like having the time of my life, telling all my friends, "I'll never go back to Lubbock. I'll never go back to that place." I'm like, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm out. I'm so glad I'm out." And we'd always go to this bowling alley. And keep in mind, I was 20. I wasn't 21, but I had one of my buddies' IDs who we looked very similar, very similar. And we'd always go to the bowling alley. And the bowling alley was in between like Denton and McKinney, somewhere in that area. Not too sure, but it was a drive from our apartment. And one day we pull up, and man, we've been going there. I think it was every Wednesday. I think every Wednesday was like dollar you call it. So I mean, it was Wednesday. We had $20, and that's all I needed, dude. Gonna bowl maybe one game and just hang out. Well, I'll get to the door, and the dude's like, "Hey, we got an ID on." We're like, "Oh, we always come here." We're like, "What's going on?" Like, "We always come here." And I was like, "No big deal." Like, we all go to pull our ID. I do the back pat. I don't have my wallet. And I was like, "Dude, I'm not going all the way back to get my wallet. Just let me in." The dude's like, adamant. Nope. And my friends, my friend, 20-year-olds, like the right thing to do would probably be like, "Hey, we'll go back with you." But I do understand. So they're like, "Yeah, we're not going back over there. Like, bro, just go run and get in, come right back." I was like, "You know what? You're right. I still have like 2 hours to hang out." I was like, "I'm going to go right back." So I drive all the way back. I think you know where this story is going. I drive all the way back, and I pull up to my spot. I mean, I'm starting in there, whipping it in there. And there's a Dodge Challenger in my spot. And there's this old black guy who would always like do like the maintenance at the apartments. And I was like, "Hey, man, this is my spot." And the dude was like, "Son, come here." And I was like, "Dude, I don't have time for this." His name is Reggie. I was like, "I don't have time for this, Reggie." I was like, "I love talking to you." I said, "Dude, I gotta go up there and get my stuff. I gotta go." And he stops me. He's like, "You're not going up there to get your stuff, bro." I was like, "Okay, dude." I was like, "I've never had any issues with you, Reggie." I was like, "But right now you're tripping." I was like, "I'm going up there to get my stuff." I was like, "I don't really care whose car this is." I'm like, "Will you just move it, or will you just find out who it is, so when I get back, I can park in my spot?" And he goes, "That's whoever in that car is in your apartment. You're not going up there." And I looked at him. I was like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Dude," he goes, I'll go up there. I'm going to knock on the door and I'm going to escort who's ever out of there to this car. And you're going to get your stuff and you're not going to say one word to that girl and you're going to get your stuff and you're going to go find somewhere to stay tonight. And so the more ironic thing about this is the night prior to this, I'm getting a call from Silas Polite, 325 area code. I'll never forget. I didn't even have his number saved. Called me twice. Second time he calls me, I answer. I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Hey, it's Coach Pro. I got a summer job for you in Lubbock." And I was like, just exactly how it happened. I was like, "I'm coming back to Lubbock." Click. Phone. It's like, I was like, still trying to get me to come back to Lubbock. I was like, I don't even, my girlfriend is like, "What job?" I was like, "I don't even listen." I was like, "I'm not going back." So fast forward 24 hours, calling back at about 1 a.m. It took me a while to get my stuff. And I didn't say a word, man. And this story is actually crazy. This is actually one of the reasons not one of the reasons I believe in God, but this is probably my first moment when I realized there is a God. And I mean, this is crazy what I'm about to tell you. So, I mean, I get my stuff and I'm driving back to Lubbock and I'm hauling. And I didn't want my dad to know I was back. I didn't want anyone to know I was coming back to Lubbock. For one, I've been ignoring my dad, weren't on the best of terms, did not want him to know. I told him, like, "I'm gone. I'm not coming back to Lubbock." Well, I'm already on the way back 2 or 3 months later. And calling Silas and I'm calling. Finally he picks up. I was like, "Dude, do y'all still got that job for me?" I don't even know where it's at. I have no clue. I have no clue. He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "My brother works at Hayes Motor Company. Go over there in the morning. They need a guy to drive the cars around and, pick the lot up and detail some cars." I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll do it." I was like, "I'll do it." I was like, "I'll be there first thing in the morning." So I get there and I'm the lot porter. I'm going to stay at this spot, but I'm going to fast forward a little bit too. I'm already at Hayes being lot porter for about a year. Well, I went back to McKinney to go watch one of my friends graduate. And I was like, "Dude, I'm going to go by and I'm going to go tell that Reggie guy, thank you. So I pull up to my apartments, type in 0000 pound. I knew they wouldn't change the code. That was the code. I go in there and I'm driving around and I see this older Hispanic guy on the golf cart. And I was like, "Hey, I was like, do you know if Reggie's working today?" And they're like, "We don't have anyone here named Reggie." And I was like, "No, dude, the old black guy." I was like, "Maybe that's not his name." I was like, "But he's like the old black guy." I was like, "He always had a burnt black and mild in his mouth." They're like, they're looking at me like, "Are you on drugs?" I was like, "No, dude, I'm really like, I really just want to talk to him. I just want to tell him thank you." And the guy's like, he's not understand what I'm saying that well. He didn't speak the best English. So I'm like, "Okay, he probably just doesn't understand me." So I drive to the front office and I see the same lady with blonde hair that I remember talking to when we first got the apartment. And I was asking, I was like, "Hey, where's Reggie that does like the maintenance at paints and spots and stuff?" And they're like, "No, we don't have a Reggie." And I was like, "Wait, excuse me?" I was like, "You remember me?" She's like, "Oh, I do remember you." And I was like, "Yes." I said, "Where's Reggie at?" I said, "Do you remember the black guy who like he unlocked my door?" And she's like, "No, no, no. It was an older white guy." She's like, "It's this guy. He's worked here for years." And I'm sitting there and I'm tripping out. I'm like, "Please, someone tell me like that this is really happening right now." So like me being me, I'm like, "I'm gonna call Aaron." Like I was like, "I just want to make sure I'm not tripping." So I called her and I haven't talked to her in a year. And she's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Dude, I just want to talk to you for 1 second." I was like, "Just 1 second. I'm not even bothering you." It's like, "Was there not a black guy named Reggie that was like the apartment ground guy?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I remember that old black guy." I was like, "What do you think happened to him?" She's like, "I don't know. Why?" I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "That's everything I needed to know." I was like, "Bye."
Mhm.
I remember driving back and I was just like, "Man, I don't know if like," I was like, "Man," because I just keep thinking like, if I didn't see that guy, I would have ran in there, probably done something I wouldn't want to do, and probably would have been in a lot of trouble. And I just remember driving back, like telling everyone, like, "Dude, this guy doesn't exist." I remember calling my buddy Dylan. He's like, "He definitely exists." He's like, "That dude always was talking to you." And I was like, "Always?" I was like, "Every time." I was like, "At the pool." He was like, my friend Dylan was like, "No, that dude was always talking to you." I was like, "I know. He doesn't exist." I was like, "Everyone says he doesn't exist." I went up there and they were like, "Bro, that's weird. That's your guardian angel." And I was like, no, I actually think you guys might be right. I was like, because no one seems to know this guy. I was like, I mean, the apartment complex is huge. There's probably 40 units. I mean, ginormous. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. But I just remember like, okay, you know what? I was like, I think I'm right where I need to be. I was like, something's telling me like, I think I'm in the right spot. So I'm working at Hayes for a year and I'm 21 now at this point. And I remember basically they were telling me like, you can either go back to school and still do this, or you can jump into sales, or you can't work here. Like that was, and I was like, what? They're like, yeah, you got, like, you're, every time there's a customer here, you know them. They're like, dude, go back to school and you can work here part time, or you need to go full time into selling here, or just leave. Don't work here. And I remember Kyle Porras telling me that, and I was like, all right, dude, I'll give it a shot. I was like, my mom always told me that I shouldn't sell cars. She thinks I'd be really good, and she thinks I'm not going to go back to school. And he's like, no, man, I mean, just try it. She's going to be happy. She's going to be proud of you regardless. I was like, I don't know, man. My mom thinks I'm going to be really good at this, and she really, really wants me to finish school. My mom went to A&M, and I mean, she got in 4 years, four in, four out. And I mean, she was that student, you know, that she was the person. Like, education is huge. And I was just like, man, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I mean, why not? I'm making $9 an hour. I was like, man, I mean, picking up some games, a referee on the side. I was like, really? It can't get any worse. Like, that's what I remember saying to myself. And my first month selling cars, I sold 15. And I remember one of our owners at the time was specifically remember him saying this. It was kind of like shade he was throwing, but it wasn't. It was just like, oh, anyone can do it once. Got to do it again. So I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again and again and again. In my first year there, first full year selling cars, like I made 6 figures. And now I'm 21, 22. I'm probably 22, and I'm making decent money. You know, like this is when everything, like milk wasn't $12. So, you know, I mean, I was, my rent was still $600. So, man, I mean, I was doing it. You know what I mean? Like I was doing it. My friends were like, oh man, dude, like you're killing it. You're killing it. And then the next year, start off the year even stronger. January, February, March, we're going strong. I remember March, I wanted to have a big birthday party, have all my friends. I mean, I remember we had the time of our life and come back because my birthday was on a Monday that year. I don't know how I remember this. It was on a Monday, the year's 2020. And I just remember Sunday waking up to like a ton of texts like, can you guys believe the country's going to shut down? Can you believe like this is going to happen? Like, I was like, dude, this COVID thing's going to be 2 weeks, maybe a week. And we're going to go right back to normal life. And well, it was wrong, obviously, but I remember I just bought my first house, and next thing you know, they're like, okay, everything's got to shut down. And I'm like, bro, I just bought a house and spent every dollar I had banking that I was going to come back in April and just kill it. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting there like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I remember calling my mom, and my mom gave me the perfect answer. She goes, you're going to do what you always do. You're going to figure it out. She's like, don't quit. Don't go. Cause I was like, maybe I can deliver pizzas or something. The Uber was kind of just going. I was like, man, I think I'm going to try to Uber. And my mom was like, no. She's like, just figure it out. She's like, you'll figure it out. So to my knowledge, I'm the first person I know that really utilized like Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to sell cars, dude. I couldn't have people come to my lot. So I started thinking, I was like, dude, I got a bunch of followers on Instagram. Got a lot of people on Facebook, really big on Twitter. I was like, let me just post my cars on here. I mean, let's see how that goes. So I started doing that, and I started selling more cars. And I was like, wait a second, I'm not even going out on the lot to get these guys. I'm just posting stuff and answering my phone. And I don't have kids, so I could deliver any car, and I like doing it. Like I had people like calling me from Arizona, like, hey, I know your cousin. I'm out here. I know your dad. Louisiana. Like, can you bring it out here? We can't even go to the dealerships. And I was like, yeah, I can actually. Like, I can.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll bring it to you. I'll bring it to you and fly home, or bring it to you, drive your trade back. And that's where I kind of started doing that. So I mean, everything like just I start like kind of looking at things like now. I'm like, dude, COVID was probably the best thing that happened to me. Because, everyone else was like, I'll just go get unemployment. I'll hang out. I'm like, I was like, no, I got to figure this out. I'm like, dude, I finally have big bills, like big bills. I remember at the time I was like, I'm paying 2,500 in bills, dude. Like, I was like, I got to figure something out. Like, I remember I was like, dude, 2,500 in bills, dude. I was like, I'm going to drown.
Yeah.
So I remember walking in and telling Jimmy, I was like, I'm really going to try to sell 4 or 5 a month, just try to get by. And he was like, you got to sell more than 4 or 5. Just watch 20, 18, 20, 18, 20, 18, 20. And November comes and I'm just realizing, I'm like, I have found a different way how to sell cars.
Mhm.
Like everyone else is still thinking you got to do commercials, ads, and all that. I was like, no, you don't, man. You just got to just post the car, reach out, remember who, like, oh, this guy likes BMWs. Okay. Hey, buddy, I just got a BMW. You're a real big BMW guy. Got this. Send me pictures. Boom, send pictures.
Yeah.
And also, my clients had gotten used to not having to come up to the dealership. So you got to think, I didn't sell any less cars during COVID. I sold more. Then I just gained trust with my clients. So then now it's just like, oh, like people call me like, hey, I'm looking at this truck. They've already bought from me. They trust me. I'll get in the truck, call them back. Like, it's not the one, and it might be a good moneymaker for me, but I'm just honest. I'm just
Yeah.
like, hey, that's not going to be the one. Like, we can find you the one. That's not the one. And they love that. So, COVID really helped me get into this. And a lot of people are trying to do what I do on the social media aspect. But like the thing that they don't take into account is like, I really know these people.
Right.
Like, I'm not some stranger to these people. Like I ref their kids or coach their kids, been in their kids' life. And if you take care of someone's kids, dude, that's all they ask for. That's all anyone wants is you to take care of their kids. And I remember I was that guy who the kids loved having me as a referee. They loved it when I coached them. And I really gained everyone's trust through those kids.
Yeah.
And that's something I didn't realize. Like, it's all sports related.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
And related to that, something I've seen just in following you on social, initially I did see those, hey, here's so-and-so's 16th birthday. Here's their first car. And you helped them buy that.
Yeah.
And it was local and it was definitely community. And in particular, a lot of people I know from Cooper who had gravitated towards you. But then NIL and the transfer portal kicks in Lubbock, Texas, where if people aren't following, there is money flowing through the veins of Texas Tech athletics. And what I've noticed is that you have established a niche for yourself in, even 5 or 10 years ago, student athletes that couldn't afford lunch are now buying 6-figure automobiles because they've got these massive NIL deals, and you're there and you are connected with them in a way that not a lot of car dealers can have. You've got credibility, you've got some lived experience that I think allows you to connect with them. So talk me through how what you went through and maybe some of your darkest days has equated to a connection point to a clientele that trusts you in a way that maybe they wouldn't if you were me.
Yeah. You're not wrong, man. It's just reality. People, like you said, I'm a young black guy. I still got enough swag where I'm cool enough to rock with them. I'm almost to that 30-year-old point where they're now starting to call me Unc, which is crazy to me. But dude, the NIL stuff actually kind of happened as a joke. Like how I kind of got locked in. It's actually a funny story that a lot of people don't know. So I was so into that show, Last Chance U, with Coach Mosey. I was so into it. I think I watched every episode the first night. I stayed up to like 6 a.m. Like I'm not kidding. Like I tried to watch one, and next thing you know, I'm at the end. I'm like, but that's it. Like that's the end. Like and I'm just over there and I'm follow every single one of those guys. Boom, 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 follow them all. And maybe like a week later, I see that KJ Allen is coming to Tech. So I was like, what? And keep in mind, a lot of people don't know this. The NIL was not like it had not started yet.
Right.
Okay, it hadn't started. So boom, he commits to Tech. First thing I do is go at him on Twitter, hit his DMs. Yo, what's up, man? I see you're coming to Lubbock. Want to have lunch with you? Want to eat with you? I'm a car salesman. I can help you out. I'm local. Anything you need in Lubbock, I got you. I remember sending the message, and my girlfriend at the time was like, bro, this fool's not gonna message back. Why'd you send that? Like, he's not gonna like you look like an idiot. Like, why'd you send that? I was like, I don't know. I was like, he's got mad bounce. And I was like, and he's coming to Lubbock. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna hit him again. Message him again the next day, like, hey, don't know if you saw my message, but don't know when you get here. But would love to go to lunch with you. Would love to take you out to eat. Let's hang out. Let's just connect. Message me and says, a lot of people don't know KJ. KJ is the definition of antisocial, like the definition of he does not want to talk. He doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to chill. That's KJ, so I'm the complete opposite of that. I will talk your ear off if you let me. Like, I really will. And he messaged me back and was like, 2 words, I'm here. And so I sent him my number, like, here's my number, call me. And I'm just sitting there waiting. I send the message. I mean, I'm just sitting at my desk like this, just like, he's gonna call me, right? And I was telling everybody at like work, like, look, he messaged me back. And next thing you know, I get a call from a 310 area code, Los Angeles. So I pick up. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hey, it's KJ. And I was like, dude, where are you, dude? I'll come pick you up. What are you doing? And he's like, right, I have a ride. Like, come get me. I was like, bro, I'll come get you. Like, tell me where you're at. Come get you. So I drive right over to the cottages and go pick him up. And this is before NIL. Okay. So, I mean, this is just some top secret information. I'm going to tell everybody. But, like, and I mean, I was already in the plans to, there was something that I was going to do, because I was like, this guy's got to, I mean, like, I'm going to be really honest with you. Everyone's motive has something to do with themselves, and that was mine. I was like, I wanted to meet this guy, but I was like, this guy also can put me onto a different platform. He's got 250,000 followers on Instagram. I've never seen that. I was like, man, if I can do this right, this guy really might help me out, right? And so we're just talking, chatting, going back and forth. And next thing you know, like, he's like, bro, I love 2K. I was like, bro, just come over to my house, let's play 2K. So playing 2K, always we're playing 2K with each other. Then boom, you find out, like, hey, the college football video game's coming back because they're about to start paying players. The second that happened, I mean, not a lot of people know this. I'm pretty sure me and Jimmy were the first people to lock in an NIL deal with all of the NIL. I mean, that day NIL went down, we met with him and we signed him that day. Went to compliance at Texas Tech. You got to think, nobody knows how this is really going to work. They're telling us, hey, you got to do these amount of videos and y'all can pay him this. That didn't. It just paid. I mean, KJ's the hardest person to get a hold of. We tried the video one time, went terribly. We're like, what? Go just take come by the first of every month. Here's the car payment. Come by. Well, with that set up though, was KJ really only trusted me. Like, with everything he did, I mean, he was getting all these calls, and they didn't have the NIL agents and handlers at this time. They didn't have that, dude. They didn't have none of that. Like, all these dudes that are coming in here with the crooked ties and, the oversized suits coming in there that they just rented to try to represent someone's baby boy. They didn't have that, dude. So I was his agent. So it was me. Like, anytime KJ got a call, I was like, dude, just call me and Jimmy, dude. You don't know what you're saying. He had this guy named Coach DeWitt in California who he didn't know what he was doing. And I worked deals for a living. And how we kind of got locked in with KJ, like locked in, was one day at Velvet Taco, one of the dudes in there, like one of the managers recognized him, as like, can I get a picture with you? And I'm just like, no. I was like, KJ, don't take a picture. I was like, dude, you got NIL now. And I was like, you're telling me you don't got enough money? Because remember, the schools aren't really the start of NIL. A lot of people don't realize, like, you maybe had like 3 to 5 guys that were making 6-figure deals, but everyone else, it was just a little bit of change here, there. Take a picture with the Raising Cane's guy. We'll give you $1,000 here, there. So that's when I was like, got Velvet Taco to do a deal with KJ. Well, then I got Alliance to do a deal. Then all these other people started reaching out, and like, I was just KJ's guy. So KJ got me in with the Tech basketball team. So at first, it was me and this other guy named Kirk Knowles who were really kind of facilitating all the vehicles to the basketball guys where he provided Tahoes to these kids. And dude, young black kids don't want to drive Tahoes, bro. Like they don't. Those are nice vehicles, no offense. But you're talking about a 19-year-old kid who's got a little bit of money in his pocket. He didn't want to drive a Tahoe. So they started calling me. That's when the Pop Isaacs, Rob, Jalen Tyson, I got locked in with that group of Lamar, Fordos Amac, and Davion Harmon, which me and Davion are the closest of friends today still. But I really got locked in with those guys, and that's what kind of built me the trust. And then, like, everyone else starts noticing, like, dude, who is this guy that's always at the basketball team? Like, who is this guy that's always at the basketball team? Like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, I sell them all their cars. I can help them with their cars because we only did an NIL deal with KJ. That's it. It was only with KJ because it wasn't going well. I mean, we weren't gaining sales and stuff. So, like, I understood it didn't really make sense for us to keep doing NIL deals with them. It really didn't. It was better off. We just make y'all a really, really good deal on your car. So, I mean, they would look at it as a deal, but there's nothing on paper. It wasn't a deal. It was just a car deal because the NIL was tricky. It's like, well, y'all can't do anything that y'all wouldn't do for another customer. It was easier before, like the first year of NIL. The first year of NIL was awful because no one really knew everyone wanted to stay from getting in trouble, but everyone wanted to start acting, but you couldn't. So like, you gotta think, I was like, bro, look, like I'm y'all's friend, whatever y'all need, just hit me up. Because if you were friends with someone, like if it was an established relationship for a deal, really you could do whatever you wanted. So that's kind of how we had to spin it, like, hey, like we've been friends with these guys, because I was driving a yellow BMW at the time, and those dudes would just rip it, and it'd always get pulled over every time. Like, you got your car? Is this guy supposed to be driving your car? I was like, yes. I was like, he's supposed to be driving my car, and so that was kind of the start. And then you got to think big time like not big time, but D1 athletes really only hang with D1 athletes. Band kids really only hang with band kids. Yeah. So that's when everything kind of started growing. Like, hey, we got this guy in Lubbock, this young black dude. He's super cool. He can talk well to y'all's parents. He can talk to y'all, like, call this guy for cars. That's when it really started. I really, really started to kind of get into a different type of clientele that I never thought I'd get into. Because, I mean, for one, like, everyone's kind of looking to take advantage of those guys. Like, they want to use those guys, like, come to your kids' games, come this way. Where I just want to sell cars. I didn't have kids. Like, I remember I was 23, 24, dude. Yeah, I just had a little bit of money in my pocket. I didn't have a serious girlfriend. I didn't have kids. Like, we were, whatever they were doing, I was doing, because we were around the same age, man. And, like, so I was like I always tell people, I think I was just in the right spot at the right time. And it just, kind of locked me into Texas Tech. Like, everyone just kind of started knowing me, like, oh yeah, that's the car guy. We had some girls on the basketball team, like, hey, we're going to buy from you. Some baseball players, you're going to buy from, like, Hunter Dobbins. He only came over and bought from us. He's like, I always see all the other kids buying from you. So I just thought I'd come see you. I remember when he walked into our dealership, like, I was so uninterested in baseball. I was like, yeah, some baseball player thinks, I was like, he's not any good, dude. I don't know. I've never heard of this guy. And I'm like, I'm just being cool to him just because, like, he's cool. I'm like, bro, this dude's cool. I was like, I don't know. I don't care about no baseball. And then I see him starting for the Red Sox. I'm like, that's Hunter Dobbins, dude. That's the same kid. I was like, that's the same dude. Like, and it's ironically, he works at Pollard in the offseason. Well, not anymore. I think now he's doing, but he was working at Pollard selling cars on the offseason when he was in the minor league. Now, he'll probably never, I think the last time we talked to him, he said, you'll see me at Pollard. He said, but it's going to be to buy it.
Right.
But, so I hope he can help get me into baseball. But I mean, that's kind of just how it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think back to the reality of that one phone call from one person put your life on a completely different path.
It really did.
Looking back now, how is who and where you are today? How does that compare to maybe who or where you thought you would be when you were that 16, 17-year-old bright-eyed kid with big dreams? And what has the journey taught you?
Damn, that's a good question, man. It's weird because I did end up being that guy, but it was, everyone thinks it's just this to get
Mm.
there, No one realized it was a bunch of this, it was a bunch of this, and we'd get back here, and then we get back, and we get back here, and then we get back here. I honestly, man, it's not that I never believed, but like, I always believed that this would be my life, but I just never really thought it was gonna be a real reality. Like I always thought like I'm gonna figure something out and have a breakthrough when I'm like 40. And doing it in my 20s, it's been weird. That's just the best way I can put it. Cause you gotta think like I have a lot of friends that aren't doing well that can't handle being next to someone who is. I got a lot of people that I want support from that you can't get support from. Then I'm getting support from people that you necessarily don't want support from. It's not that you don't, I think everyone wants support, but it's just like I'm expecting the words you're giving me from somewhere over here. So like you said, it just made me realize like I can't really control what others think of me. Like I just need to just be content with myself.
Yeah.
And that's where I think at 28, and this sounds crazy, I think that just kind of came into effect this year. I think like I went through some serious adversity at 26, because from 22 to 26, everything was excellent. I mean, I was the guy. Um, I was hanging out with people I never thought I'd hang out with. I'm partying with Michael Crabtree, who's my idol. And like I'm doing stuff and I'm just like, dang, dude, I didn't think like this would happen. Like, and you get so caught up in like the high, like you don't even recognize like, dude, I'm not being a great person to other people. Like that's like I was living it up, but I was like, man, like I think I can be a better person. And and then you hit that adversity when you get so high up. And a lot of people like when you get there, everyone wants you to see,
Mm.
everyone wants to see you fail, and when you show them that you're just like everyone else, you're a human, you make mistakes, you get caught in the wrong situation around the wrong type of people. Like I was just as vulnerable as everyone else, and I didn't know that. I was like, I'm on the top of the world, like whatever. Like I'm being this POS to this girl, like oh whatever. I'll just go date this girl, and cause she's at work at night, and I'll never get caught, and I'll party, and then you realize like, oh, I wish I would have grabbed myself and put myself back with God instead of have to go through adversity where God makes me find him again. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for it now.
Yes.
I really am. I really am.
So take me there if you're comfortable with it. You
Mhm.
have this
I am. I am.
moment where everything's going well after things
Mhm.
didn't go well. And there's kind of this cycle repeating where things are going well and then they don't. And then
Yeah.
things are going
Yep.
well and then they don't. And now
Yep.
you're 26. You're a grown man making
Yep.
big boy money, and
Yep.
all of a sudden that is, at least in your mind, momentarily in jeopardy. Talk me through it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was 100% in jeopardy. So I had just left Hayes Motor Company, and that's where I was like the rock star man for 5 years in a row. I was that guy because my GM, who really, really kind of got me into like, hey, you're a 20 car a month guy. He moved over to Pollard. Well, the girl I was dating at the time, her parents were best friends with my owners at Hayes. They're really, really good friends with them. And a lot of stuff just wasn't adding up for me over there. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna Pollard. And I did. And everything started going really south. Like with her and I, everything like with my relationship just kind of started going down. So it's September 10th because Tech was playing Oregon September 11th. I'll never forget. And all my buddies were hanging out. Everybody that moved away came back to Lubbock for that game. It was a sellout. I had tickets. All my buddies were hanging out at my house. We were drinking, partying, having a great time. And I had given someone else attention when I should have just let someone else go. Like we'd been rocky, been in and out, rocky, rocky, rocky. And man, we get back together and everything just didn't feel right to me. And instead of like being real about it, like I was just like, you know what, like I'm just gonna do this and find something else while I'm doing this, which is once again, it's my fault. Like I do take accountability for that. Like I take full accountability for that. And so I fall asleep and all my buddies are at my house. I mean, we stayed up late. Like, I mean, we get back to my house 2, 3 a.m., start laying down, go to sleep. And I have my dog, her dog's there, all my friends in my living room, and wake up, man, and do the pat pat like that. Oh snap, where's my phone? I'm like, where's my phone? Okay. And I noticed my bathroom door is shut. I'm like, oh no. I was like, I'm cooked, man. I just remember like thinking like, oh man, she's about to go through my phone and see some stuff she don't want to see. And so like, sure enough, open the door and man, that's when it just was a bunch of emotions. She was hurt, upset as she should have been. She should have been. I wasn't man enough to just be like, hey, I'm not all the way in this. Like, probably should just let you go. You do your thing. I'll do my thing. If we come back together, like that's great. I didn't do that, man. I didn't do that. It was selfish of me. I just wanted to keep on partying. Like that's really what it was. Like I was 26 and I was like, now I'm doing even better at this point. And I'm like, bro, like I don't have any kids. I don't have any like real responsibility. I have a dog. I don't have any real responsibility. Like I have some good money saved up. So I'm not worried about bills. Like I was like, I got this new pep in my step going over to a new dealership and they love me over here and I'm selling even more cars. And I just shifted so far away from God at this point. That's just what it was. Like I was so far away from God. Like I was so caught up in like material shit, like so caught up in like, hey, I get to go to this Cowboys game and me and Austin Johnson. I mean, I with Austin Johnson and Blake Griffin's with us. And, there's me, like, I'm everywhere I want to be, like thinking like, dude, life's great. And it wasn't. I had to realize like it wasn't, dude. And so like we go through this incident. I have a couple of my friends like get her out of my house, man. And really, really don't think anything of it. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, we'll talk tomorrow. And my buddy's like, everything be good. I was like, bro, yes. I was like, you go through this all the time. He's like, well, what happened? I was like, I was texting this girl, yada, yada, yada. Went through my phone, yada, yada, yada. And she went crazy as she should have. And, you know, so everything goes south right there. But like, I'm just thinking, I'm like, you talk tomorrow. We always do. Everything's cool. I never hear back from her. Like a text, call from my voice phone. She answers. It's my voice. She hangs up. So I'm like, ah, you know what? I'm just gonna give her some space, give her some time. So you already know what I did. I was like, whatever. I'm gonna go out and party again. Text playing organ. That's not gonna stop me. We're gonna have a great time. Boys are here. And I sure had a good time. And then the week goes through, and I just remember I'm still selling. Well, I get a call like at 2 o'clock, and it's like, "Hey, this is Detective so and so. You're being investigated for domestic assault." And I was like, "Dude, I know who got my phone or who you are, but don't you ever call this phone again." And I was like, "Hang up." Like, and I don't think it's real. Like, I think someone's messing with me. And call again the next day. He's ready to talk. It's like, yeah. I'm like, bro, stop calling my phone. I was like, you call my phone again, I'm calling the cops. I was like, don't call my phone. So I don't hear anything for like another week. Well, finally, I made a call from a buddy of my dad. His son's now a lawyer, and he moved out to Vegas. Just a good dude, and calls me. He's like, "Bro, you have like a pending warrant," and I was like, "What?" I was like thinking, I'm like, I don't think I paid that speeding ticket in Abilene. I was like, I just thought about it. So I go pay my speeding ticket in Clyde, Texas. I'm like, yeah, it's a speeding ticket, right? I was like, on the phone, he's like, no, dude. He's like, you got a second to come into my office? I was like, yeah, I'll head there right now. And I get there and like, I remember opening the door and seeing like this receptionist, like she knows me, and I knew her, and like she just gave me this look. I was just like, he's like, okay. And I remember going sitting in Troy's office and sitting down with him, and like I could just see in his face, like he's just like, "You good?" And I was like, "Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm good. What's up?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, you have a warrant for domestic assault. Like, they're about to file on you any day." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, bro. Like, you're about to go to jail, man." I was like, "Wait, what?" So you gotta think like I've always been able to like get out of stuff, you know. So I'm sitting there, I'm not even worried. I'm like, sorry, I'm not even worried. Call this friend, call this friend, call that friend. Everything's gonna be okay. Let me know what you need from me. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So then I get back to work the next day, and my GM comes up to me. He's like, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, like, cool. Like, I'm doing a great job. Like, what's up? And I could see it in his face. Like, it's like, it's in a good conversation. He's like, I need to talk to you. So I go sit down. And he's like, what's going on? And I was like, what do you mean what's going on? You know, like, I kind of know, but I'm just like, I want to hear what he's got. I want to hear what he's got to hear. He's like, oh, everyone's saying that I have a guy here that's putting hands on women. He's like, I have a daughter. Like, he's like, if that's what's going on. He goes, can't work here. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait, what? I was like, so this is real? So I'm showing him like, hey, like this is what's going on. Like, okay, like I am getting accused of this right now. Like, this is what's going on right now. And yeah, keep in mind, I've only worked at Pollard at this time, May, June, July, August, 4 months. So like, I'm not the guy that's like, this dude's gonna be our top salesman for 2 years. He's gonna have a month where he's gonna sell 50 cars. We're gonna keep this guy, you know? So like now I'm sitting there like, they're like, "Hey, well, you need to go home. Like, like you need to go home. You can't really be here until we kind of figure out what's going on." And he was like, "This is serious." Yes. He's like, "This is one of those things." He goes, "If you take a conviction for this," he goes, "You're probably gonna have to go back to school, dude." Like he's like, "You probably won't be able to work in the car business." He's like, "You're not gonna be able to work here. Well, we'll tell you that straight up." And I was like, oh no, this is serious. Like this is really serious. So I had to touch for like, hey, like, love you to death, man. I got to find some really, really good representation. So find a really good lawyer. So I get with new lawyer, and we're sitting there, and it's him, it's his wife, it's me, and I got my mom on the phone, and like basically, like he's asking me like, hey, we need to know about like, we need to know from point A to point B, like what happened. So I tell him, and I'm like, he's like looking at me, he's like, okay, I need the real story now. And I'm like, okay, I know you don't know me, man. I said, that's the real story. He's like, all right, tell it again. Tell it all over again. And I mean, hit it word for word, timeline, word for word, everything's the same. And he's looking at me. He's like, okay. He goes, it's the last chance. He said, just tell me tell me. He's like, I'm your lawyer, dude. He goes, I need to know. He goes, I need to know everything. He said, I need to know when this happened, what you did. So I tell him one more time. Finally, he looks at me. He's like, okay, that's the same consistent story every time. He goes, something's not adding up here, dude. He goes, something's not adding up. He says, that's not enough to be filed on. He says, we'll do everything we can to get them to not go through with this. Keep going. We're 3 days into this. And then they come out the news article like, oh yeah, it's not about me, but there's like the DA's office is backed up months and months and months, and cases following on. You're not going to be seen in years. I remember watching that specifically. I was like, dang, I'm gonna be doing this for a long time until we can get this over with. Yeah. And then 2 days later, all of a sudden, like I get a call like, hey, yours is up to the front, like they filed on you. I'm like, I just watched the news case, like, hey, that's them saying they're 2 years backed up. Just watch a police officer literally like go through something way worse, got it on body cam, used his own weapon, and like they still haven't filed on this guy. And it's like 6 months before me. So I'm like, so that's when I figured out. I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get screwed, aren't I? He's like, yes. He said, you may be innocent. He said, but man, we are facing, it's you versus, and this is my favorite line. He said, it's you versus 20 people who hate you. And I was like, oh, great. So I'm just like, I'm backed up against the wall. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm about to lose all my clientele. Like, this is the worst thing. Like, this is probably the Me Too movement. Like, this is probably the worst thing that you can probably be accused of. Like, if it's one of them, it's definitely in the top five. You know what I mean? But you go through a situation like this, and people just automatically take whatever they can get and just run with it. And you keep in mind, I put myself so high up on a pedestal where all my business was just open, and it left me so vulnerable. I mean, I was such an easy target to come at. Because I mean, like I said, I put myself out there so like everyone knows who I am.
Mhm.
So I ended up knowing someone that could get me checked into the jail in Plainview so I wouldn't be on Lubbock County mug shots. And she's very adamant, like, no one ever gets our stuff. You're going to go in and out, and we're rooting for you and all this. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go in, go out, go back to work, sell 3 cars. Like, nothing ever happened. Like, nothing happened. Like, I'm still like, I mean, I am losing my mind every day, like just waiting on good news, waiting on good news, waiting on good news. And like a week, maybe 2 weeks later, one of my buddies calls me and I haven't talked to him forever. I was like, what are you on, man? He goes, you're on that page. And I was like, what? And immediately, I mean, my phone, people think it rings when we do a good special. Man, I mean, my phone just, yeah, I'm getting advice here, there. And people text me, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to defend you? What do you want me to do? And I'm just like typing all this stuff and I get a call from my dad. He goes, hey, I just want to talk to you. He goes, silence can never be misquoted. Don't say anything right now. He's like, don't say anything. Is the people that love you are going to defend you? He said, people that don't aren't. He said, he goes, but what you can't see and you can't hear can't hurt you. He's like, put your phone up and you just go to work. And he goes, it's okay. He goes, people are, he said, you're about to be dealing with something that you've never dealt with. He said, this is going to be good for you. I was like, this ain't kind of going to be good for me. He goes, yes, it is. He's like, yes, it is. This is going to be great. He's like, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And I was like, Dad, I'm fighting for my life right now. I was like, I've never been in trouble. I was the kid that I would live on the brink of getting in real trouble. And so this is that like first time where I'm like, I'm, I have my back against the wall, seriously. And I mean, things got really, really dark for me, man. Especially like they always say that the fall is harder the higher you are, I mean, which is true. And so, man, I went from hero to zero overnight. I mean, I still had a lot of people that supported me, but then had all the people that have been waiting for me to fail that were just brought right up. But what ended up being the greatest thing for me is I didn't have to worry and guess and wonder who it was. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to worry because people thought I was in jail. I wasn't in jail. I was sitting in my office when that thing. They were 2 weeks behind me. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here reading this and why everyone's like, dude, put your phone down, stop. Like, stop. You're just gonna make yourself steak and mad. And they're like, yeah, we know like you're gonna fire up people and respond. And so best thing I did is I really just didn't respond to anything. Like I just stayed silent. And that was the hardest part
Yeah.
is no one was getting an answer from me on what was going on. I gave a very brief statement, but I mean, no one would get an answer. No one could get an answer from me, which makes people like, oh, people are like, dude, he's got to be guilty. Like, I mean, he hasn't came out and said anything, like nothing, like hasn't responded to anything. And I just remember like I kept going to my lawyer's office, like, dude, give me a statement, like give me something like so I can say like, and he's like, "Mm-mm." He's like, that's all you pay me for. He's like, that's all you paying me. He's like, you just sit back and relax. Like, I was like, yeah, it's very uh, that's very easy for you to say. I'm like, I can't sit back and relax. Like, and my lawyer didn't know me, man. Like, he has no clue who I am until I think finally when everything started changing with the lawyer and me happened at a tech basketball game. I'm at a tech game and I see him like sitting right below me and waves at me. And I think he like was watching the corner of my eye and like cursing at me. And this is my first time I've like really gone out. Person after person is coming up, talking to me. And the next morning, I remember waking up and my lawyer was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I tried telling you, man." I was like, "I grew up in Lubbock. Everyone knows my dad. Everyone knows me." I was like, "Bro, I picked you because everyone said you're the best." I was like, "I need you to be the best right now." And so everything kind of started to change. He started working really, really hard for me. I really realized what we were up against. And I mean, they did not keep in mind, this is a misdemeanor. I was getting charged with a misdemeanor crime. People can say what they want, but when I say it was somewhat of a witch hunt, man, they sent 4 police officers to Pollard to look for me. They sent one was sitting, my neighbor said one was sitting in front of my house. My dad said one was sitting in front of his house. And little do they know, I was in plain view. I was already turning myself in. Like they were searching, looking for me. And I just remember Jimmy, my GM who I worked with at Hayes, was like, "Bro, this is outrageous." He's like, he goes, "Bro, they're trying to catch you up and ruin you." He said, "This isn't about you and whatever happened that night anymore." He said, "This isn't about that, bro." He said, "But I just know there's a lot of power right now on that side." And I was like, "Oh, what do I do?" And he's like, "Ain't saying this." He goes, "Sounds super cliche." He goes, "But you just need to trust God right now." He goes, "You need to trust God right now." And he goes, "That's super cliche. I know, like, that's the last thing you want to hear me say." And it really was. It really was. And I'm like, "Oh, trust God." Like, and I trust God because the God's the one who put me here, God's the one who took it, And then I started really thinking, I was like, you know what? Like, maybe I did need this, And when I kind of realized, like, finally stopped denying, like, I knew what had happened, but I was so in denial, like, this shouldn't happen to me. Like, why me? Why me? This shouldn't even happen to me. Like, why? And then I started thinking, I was like, regardless if that happened or not, I shouldn't have been over here doing this. I shouldn't have focused on that. I should have been better at this person. I should have been better than that person. So I learned and I was like, I'd always laugh at people on this page and be like, "Oh, I'm innocent. I swear I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I'm innocent." And I'd be like, "This idiot over here." And I was like, "Oh my God, I've learned empathy now." I was like, "Oh, wow." Like I've learned like this could happen to anyone. Like, like I need to start realizing like I'm no better than you. And I was walking around like better than that guy. Like this guy, like you're talking about this salesman, like this guy, like look at he doesn't even know this guy, And then I was like, bro, I was so lost. Like, and I just remember one of my customers was like, and she didn't have any social media. She knew nothing. She just was like, "I miss how you were." I was like, "What do you mean you miss how I was?" She's like, "I remember the first time like you bought a car for me, like she's like, you were just so authentic and you just cared and you really asked." I remember she's like, "I remember you asking us the week later how the car was and how that much that meant to us. And I remember when you asked us how our son's doing." And I just was like, regardless of what happens, I'm gonna go back to being that guy. I was like, and he's like, regardless of what I might have versus what that guy didn't have, I was like, people love that guy, man. I was like, people really did. And I just like really took some steps back and really just focus on positivity. A lot of people don't know this either. Dude, I had to pay for a life coach. Like I was like seriously depressed. It was like the same scenario as like when an athlete retires. Like, like what do I do now? Like that's what I was going through because also had clients. I wasn't taking new clients. And you got to think a lot of people don't want to listen to what you said happened. They're ready to just believe what they want to believe. And you can never change that for someone, but what I could change is how I was towards other people and how I responded to stuff and that some stuff isn't for me, and that made me go from like, now I can say it was the best thing that happened to me. Like I remember my dad telling me that because I went from here to here because sure I was doing good. Sure I'm successful, but I'm there for people. That's what's important to me is regardless of what I have, like I want to give you someone that you can call like for anything. And I have your back because I only got through what I was going through because people had my back. and I just wanted to be that for everyone else now. Now, like I see someone on that page or someone's going through something, I'm the first person that calls them, hey man, I just want to let you know I love you. Like, dude, have you not seen what they're saying? I don't care what they're saying about you. I don't care about what you did. That I mean, that's horrible. I sure hope you didn't do that for your sake, but man, I just want to let you know I'm not gonna let you walk alone through this. And also it made me level up to even kids. Like I had to go tell a whole group of kids, like here I was coaching basketball, like this is why me and so and so aren't together. What this is what y'all have seen. This is what happened, and I was their hero. And you see your hero's cape fall off. I mean, you get upset, and so I had to teach these kids, like, man, like we'll get through this. And I really didn't feel bad about me. I felt bad about every time I walked my team into the gym. Like it was like,
Yeah.
hey, that's that guy. Hey, those kids play for that guy. I cared about that.
Right.
I really did. I cared about that. You know what I mean? Like, dude, these kids, their parents are trusting. The one thing like that a parent wants is just to make sure their kid is taken care of.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what that hurt me the most. But also you got to think like I'll talk to those same kids today, and they're like, dude, I'm going through this at school. And so whatever. And I say, hey man, remember when I went through the worst thing that I thought was the worst and I cried in front of all y'all's parents and you all came together, prayed for me. I said, dude, listen, I said, this too shall pass. Like,
Mhm.
and then I tell them that like this too shall pass. Like, but if you don't, I said, but you gotta let it pass though. You can't give up.
Right.
And that's what it's been to me, is just a testimony, like, hey, like what I went through, it could happen to anyone. Um, I don't say why me. I really don't. I know that like it needed to be me. Like it needed to be me because for one, I have a big outreach to kids. A lot of kids call me, text me, ask me like, "Oh, like, how'd you get to where you're at?" Or "How'd you do this?" Like, and the thing about it now is like, I know when I was going through that, I thought like, man, I'll never be big time again. And I think I got bigger. Like I think I got better. Like I'm bigger, better because for one, like I'm doing everything I do, but now I'm doing it with the power of God. Like now I know I have my number one fan that's always with me, and it's really, really been the best. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's been the best thing that's happened to me.
Right.
It really
And that's how
has.
that works. Again, we're talking with Jonathan Shorten, Pollard Friendly Forward. He's been through it. I'm reminded of a saying that has given me peace when I'm in it, and that's a smooth sea never makes a skilled sailor. And understanding that those storms and those trials and those adversities force us to grow in ways that ease
Mhm.
and complacency and things just going exactly according to plan never could. And I see that. I mean, when I log into social media, you're always sitting in front of a new trophy. It seems like another 50 car month. So clearly, it has pivoted you. If you could go back and talk to yourself the day after your high school graduation, knowing what Jonathan was headed for, those years of success and adversity and success and adversity, what would you tell yourself?
Don't be anything you're not. That's easy to me. Don't be anything you're not, man. I had to realize like, bro, I didn't grow up in the hood. Why do I have to talk to slang for someone to like me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, just be myself, man. And like when you're just yourself, you don't have to spend like the amount of energy like you save is so much energy. And people don't realize like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, it takes a lot of energy to hold a lion. Like people don't think about that, man. Is like the one thing I would tell myself, like an 18-year-old me, is, dude, just be yourself. People are going to talk bad about you or good about you, regardless. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. And that's what got me caught up in every situation that I was caught up in. It's because I wanted to fit in somewhere that I probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
You people want to be this and don't even realize like you might like Jalen Tyson, for instance, man. I don't mean to tell his business, but I mean, he's dreamed his whole life to play in the NBA, and to hear him say like, "My life was better before this," like that hurts, man. You know, that, like, I hate hearing that. Like, that's everything that dude's worked for. And to hear that, like, and that's what people don't understand is you have some kid that's just dedicating his whole life to be this. And like, maybe that's not for you, man. Maybe I know that you think having a $30 million contract's going to make you happy. Not necessarily, man. Like a lot of people have a lot of money, but they're lonely.
Yeah.
And I think if you ask someone with a lot of money, would they trade good friends for money? I think they're going to say yes. I think bro, loneliness will kill you.
Yes.
But the one thing I would tell myself, like, and it's a great question. I do get asked that a lot is like, dude, just be yourself, man. Like, just be yourself. Like, might not be cool enough to hang out with some group of guys. Like, and dude, this guy was he didn't talk like us. Like, yeah, I had two parents that are both highly educated, and I never realized. I was like, okay, that's probably why. Like, I do have good grammar. I do speak well, but I speak great. You know, I was made fun of it playing AAU basketball. I'd bust your ass still, but they'd still make fun of it. You know what I mean? And like, the cool thing is now I'm just like, dude, all those guys had something to say, like that. You know, I'm not ever saying I'm rooting for your downfall because I'm not. But I'm just like looking out, like.
Watch me
I
now.
can talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I can talk to anyone and everyone, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm respected by a lot of people. Like, people know, like, oh, dude, this guy comes from a good background. My grandmother was a teacher for 40 years at West Texas A&M. I mean, my grandma was a librarian for 40 years. Like, if, like, I'm just a product of how I was raised.
Right.
And you just have to understand, like, it's okay if people aren't going to understand.
Sure.
And they don't have to, and they're not supposed to.
Yep.
You know, and that.
Well, your phone's been blowing up while we've been here, so I want to land this plane. I know you're busy. You got things to do. I got two left for you
Okay.
here. I love music and the emotions that it can represent in ways that words can't.
Yes.
If we were to watch a montage of your life, what song would you pick to play in the background and why?
Kanye West, Can't Tell Me Nothing.
No, so-
The song starts off, I had a dream I brought my way to heaven. I woke up and spent it on a necklace.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, dude, that's my song, man. That is my song right there. Is I tell myself if I ever met Kanye West, be like, you didn't realize this, but you wrote that song for me. Like, you like I was trying to tell him that. Man, yeah, definitely that one.
Yeah, love
Easy.
it. Well, I dropped
Easy.
those into a playlist. I've got basically like a mixtape of all my guests that I put in. So that's a question I ask of all. What for Jonathan Shorten remains undone?
Ooh. Man, dude, still like, man, that's a good question, man. I think I've really mastered a lot on like my career. Like, I think like I've gotten to where I want to be. I think what lies next for me is I still want to be a better person, man. I still want to be able to say no when I want to say no or need to say no. I still want to be better in my personal relationships. Dude, I think that's the one area where I think if I can figure that out, I think I can be as complete can be. I think I'm on a good path, but I mean, I would love to get to the point where I can tell the devil no a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know,
That's well
I
said.
think that's the one place where I can,
Yeah.
I have a lot of room. I think a lot of us have a lot of room to grow there, but I don't think a lot of people are just ready to admit that to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. If listeners want to connect, where can I send them? Drop the socials.
Now, dude, at J Shorten on everything. It's JSHOR10, J Shorten. If you get it.
Gotcha.
And then Jonathan Shorten on Facebook, man. And you can find me anywhere on there.
All right.
I'm not like Deion Sanders said, I'm not hard to find.
I commented on that today. I saw a quote. Shadur said he had tried to call Dion before his game and he didn't pick up. I said for the first time in his life, he was hard to find. All right, last little bit. Thanks again. I really do appreciate your time.
Nah,
But
man.
it's been tremendous. Last little bit, I always stitch this in. Just introduce yourself and say, and I am undone.
My name's Jonathan Shorten, and I am undone.
Awesome, brother. All right, I'm going to stop it.